Hearing loss prevention in the music industry. On this front page, you see me at Red Rocks doing impressions for some famous bands. You see custom in-ear monitors created by us, some filtered musician earplugs, and you also see two different types of filtered musician earplugs we'll get into here. And again, this is a presentation for the Marion Down Center where I work. So loud music can cause permanent hearing loss, noise-induced permanent threshold shifts. They can't be treated medically. They can't be reversed. Damage to your ears is permanent. And so once you damage your ears, that's basically it. You have damaged your ears, and they don't heal. It's a really rare part of the human body. You cut your skin, you break a bone. A lot of times you can heal, or you can get surgery, or your body just naturally heals. With the inner ear, that's not the case. If it gets damaged, it is damaged. You can also get tinnitus from loud music. Tinnitus is often described as like a hissing or a ringing sound in your ears. I'm sure most of us have come home from a concert and our ears were kind of ringing, especially when we're going to bed and it's quiet. So that's tinnitus. And for some people, it's constant, never goes away, and it can be really loud. You also can have the inability to understand speech clearly. And that's especially true for really noisy situations. Imagine a restaurant or a party, not being able to hear what people are saying, not being able to understand what they're saying. Loud music's actually been shown to sometimes cause high blood pressure, ulcers, headaches, even sleeping disorders. And a lot of people ask me, especially these guys on tour and these guys and gals who are professional musicians, they say, well, can't my ears just toughen up? I mean, what's the big deal? And actually, you don't get used to loud sound. Your ears don't toughen up. You just gradually lose your hearing more and more. And the images here is me doing some impressions and some work with a band that's sound checking for Red Rocks. And we also show the UM56, which are silicone attachments, silicone tips for more universal in-ear monitors like Shure, or the SHURE, the Shure monitors, or the Westone universal monitors. Hearing loss causes difficulty in speech understanding, and it definitely contributes to poorer quality of life permanently, okay? Damaged hair cells, or sensory cells that change the sound into electricity, they're really unique, beautiful cells, but they're pretty delicate. Here's a picture of some healthy hair cells. These sensory cells, you see them, they look kind of like grass or like hair, and they're standing up nice and tall and beautiful. Here's another picture of some healthy hair cells, and wow, that's just a beautiful, healthy ear. But wait a second, what happens when loud sounds come in, especially for a 4-hour show or for years? Well, this is what happens. Those hair cells break, they die, and this can happen a number of ways, just pure mechanical motion of them just getting bent and smashed around with the fluid in your ear, or it can happen from free radicals, reactive oxygen species in your ear, kind of just floating around, ravaging your inner ear. Now, let's talk about what happens if you go years without protecting your ears. Well, let's look at this graph. It's got the quietest sounds they can hear, and on the x-axis we have pitch or frequency. On the y-axis we have their hearing thresholds. So the lower down on the graph, the worse hearing. So you play loud music for less than a year, you get a tiny little dip. Every few years, you can see someone's hearing just keeps going down, 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 especially centered around 4,000 hertz, kind of that upper mid pitch. Some people consider it a high frequency, high pitched sound. And our hearing just gets worse and worse. So what types of hearing protection devices can we use? Well, there's in-ear monitors. You can get silicone or acrylic. Silicone is a little more expensive and you can't fit as many drivers in it, um, but it protects your ears better. Or acrylic, you can fit more speakers in it, more drivers, and usually get sometimes what people would think of as a wider range of sounds, but it doesn't protect your ears as well. And when you got to think about how easy is it to get in the ear, acrylic slides in a little more easily than silicone. Um, and again, acrylic can be a lot less costly. Here's a big one, custom music filtered silicone hearing protection. So we can see this here. We have, these are called TRU, True Customs. The filters built into the plug, or these filters can be placed into these ES49s that, I mean, these ones have higher fidelity, but they're a little less, they're a little more noticeable, okay? These are a little more inconspicuous. Excuse me. um, we have foam earplugs. We have ear muffs. We have semi-oral earplugs, like an Eddy plug, or just kind of solid custom filtered plugs. We get active and electronic plugs for some people. What does that mean? Well, when loud sounds are present, they turn on and they block out sound. When there's no loud sounds present, let's say you're just talking to someone, they let the sound in. These are great for people using firearms. They're good for people using loud machinery. Let's talk about why you would want to come to an audiologist and why an actual professionally taken ear mold impression is important. Well, the impression for you to have a good in-ear monitor, a good earplug, the impression has to be deep. I'm talking 5 millimeters away from the eardrum. And so you need to be able to get the impression material past the second bend of your ear. And often amateurs who try to take ear mold impressions who aren't a doctor or not a licensed hearing provider, they if they're not really a hearing care professional, they might get the impression material only here. That makes for a very uncomfortable, very poor sound quality, just a crummy product that in the long run. So you don't want any holes in the impression. Sometimes that happens if you go somewhere and you're not seeing an actual doctor or a hearing instrument specialist. You want it done safely. You don't want to have someone pop your eardrum or get the impression material stuck in there. So it's important to come see us rather than just getting it done somewhere else. When you're trying to get an earplug in, you got to pull up and back on your ear. You can wrap that opposite hand around. And why do you do this? Well, you want to straighten out the ear canal. Then you insert the plug in and you kind of can do a gentle twist if you'd like. And sometimes I do a J-shaped motion for custom plugs. You definitely want to put both ear plugs in, and you can check to make sure that they're in deeply. Um, your ear canal is kind of an S-shaped canal. And so by pulling up and back, it straightens that S shape out. Insertion will hurt and not be deep enough if the ear isn't pulled up and back. Okay, so make sure you're really doing a good insertion here. And some people ask me, well, wait a second. Don't hearing protectors make it difficult to hear the music correctly? Like, come on. I'm not gonna be able to hear my guitar or my drums or whatever correctly if I have earplugs in. And won't it make my playing worse? Won't I, not perform very well? The answer is no, 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 no. When extremely high volumes are cut down, it can be actually easier to hear little musical nuances. Think about this. You're driving down the road and you're blasted by a lot of light energy. Okay, well, put some sunglasses on. You can see better, reduces glare, it tones it down, it makes it easier to process everything. Hearing protection devices enhance playing when you're at really high volumes, just like sunglasses would. Okay, so and I've especially with drummers, I see this a lot. they actually say, wow, I actually play better when I have hearing protection in versus when I don't. Okay. So don't think that your protection is going to make you play poorly. And then some people say, well, wait a second. I'll just turn my band down. Well, you can't really turn down a snare drum. You can't really turn down a crash cymbal. Okay, you can't really turn down some amps, or else they sound really weird and they don't sound correct. They don't sound nice. So you can't always just turn them down. All right. You won't be able to get the right tone. You won't be able to get the way you really want to sound. And you gotta also think some people want it to be loud. They go to one show a year. They don't care if it's loud once a year. But if you're a musician or someone in the music industry, that's a weekly or a nightly occurrence. You can't be putting that type of pressure on your ears. Hearing protection makes common sense, okay? You are ultimately the one who's responsible for your hearing. You have the most to lose if you suffer from hearing loss. Make sure that your plugs fit properly. You can listen to your iPhone or your Android or whatever music player you're playing for about 90 minutes, and that's at 80% of the volume. If you go above 80% of the volume, you're risking damaging your ears, unless it's just for maybe a minute or two. Hearing protection makes common sense again. Get an annual hearing test. Keep the hearing protection devices that you buy in good operation. Wear the protection devices when you're playing gigs, when you're rehearsing. If you work in a loud environment, you know, some people that work construction, some people that work carpentry, they can wear their hearing protection there too. Wear them for recreational stuff outside of music. I'm talking motorsports, ball games, you name it. Oh, actually, let's go back a second because I want to bring this up. Hearing loss is the third most common health problem in the entire country. You got heart disease, arthritis, and then hearing loss. I mean, how could you dispute that? It's not like you're the only one out there who has hearing loss if you already have some. It's extremely common, and don't feel, don't feel like you're alone. I mean, seriously, it's your choice. You can wear earplugs and wear your hearing protection now, or you're going to have to treat your hearing loss later with hearing aids. What sounds outside of music can cause hearing damage? Well, chainsaws, racetracks, air hammers, trap shooting, pistols, blasting, TV, mowing the lawn. But you got to think about your personal lifestyle and think about what you might be doing that could damage your ears. Some people ask me, they say, look, can't hearing aids just fix my problem later? I don't want to wear earplugs. I'll just get some hearing aids when I'm old. Well, actually, no. They do a pretty good job of improving your quality of life and success in communication, and we can help you in noisy environments, but it does not restore normal hearing. And they still have a long way to come. Okay, they do not necessarily correct hearing loss in the same ways that glasses correct vision loss. Um, because hearing loss is a sensory problem in most cases. It's not a conductive problem like most vision loss. There are some conductive hearing losses, but music damage is sensory loss. And so hearing devices, they do their best, but don't think that a hearing aid can just magically fix all your problems later in life. So I want to play this video. This is a video from the Colorado Symphony, and this video is really shows what we can do. As part of National Protect Your Hearing Month, the Marion Down Center partnered with West Tone Laboratories to provide hearing testing and custom musician earplugs for the Colorado Symphony. Filtered musician earplugs protect your hearing by reducing the volume of music without sacrificing sound quality. As a nonprofit organization, part of the Marion Down Center's mission is to ensure access to hearing healthcare to anyone in need. By supplying state-of-the-art hearing testing, in-ear monitors, and hearing protection devices, the Marion Down Center is proud to be Colorado's premier music audiology clinic. So as you can see, I mean, professional musicians, even who aren't playing at extremely high levels, they still benefit from these devices. They still find that they really improve their ear health and that they improves their comfort with playing music every day. Here's another impact story. This is from a rock musician in a local, fairly famous band, a quite famous local act, and he's a drummer.
Hey, my name is Kevin D'Angelo. I'm a career musician, play the drums in a band called Flash Mountain Flood. It's a five-piece rock and roll band with two guitar players, bass, organ, and me. And generally on the stage plot, I'm sitting right next to a large speaker cabinet, also called a Leslie speaker. That's what the organ goes through, and it is quite rowdy. So my musicians' earplugs help kind of keep me in the game, but they tame the sound on stage, so it's not damaging my ears. Down Center was a very informative experience for me. The hearing test provided knowledge that helps me now take better care of my ears. The earwax removal was pretty interesting, and I feel kind of improved my hearing honestly after something's gone. And I think that the employees and the doctors there are very gentle and skilled at what they do. So it was a pretty flawless and effortless procedure for them. They got me in and out, gave me my molds, dropped some knowledge about hearing loss and everything I could prevent it. Just as the starting point, that kind of got me to be more aware of like what was bothering me, causing me most damage. It made me more conscious of preventing and limiting exposure in certain areas. Like since, for example, 4K for me, my right ear has been severely damaged. So now, if I'm in a big crowd, into a washi, or I'm sitting next to a drum student and they have a cymbal like right in my face, I'm definitely going to put my earplugs in, but I'm also going to take a step back and not be so hands-on all the time. And I've even used my earplugs in non-musical situations to kind of just filter out those like really abrasive frequencies that were causing damage. I think whether it's like mowing the lawn, sometimes driving, if like my car is just like humming, I don't know, it just brought it to my attention that I need to be more cautious in certain situations that could damage my hearing, where, up until 20, 22 years of life, you would never think that, oh wow, this could actually hurt my ears. I shouldn't be this close, or I shouldn't stay here that long, or maybe I shouldn't stand up front at this concert or event. The earplugs have provided me a distortion-free sound, whether it's through teaching for several hours in a small room, or being on stage or in rehearsals for several hours. They keep the sound clear, and they keep this layer of isolation that I feel I can kind of get more in my head, but still be connected to the environment around me.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kronen. I work at the Marion Down Center, and we're a nonprofit for anyone with hearing needs. So we work a lot with musicians. And I often ask musicians if they have a case for their guitar or their drums, and they always say yes. And I ask them why, and they always say the same thing, which is they want to protect their instrument so it doesn't get damaged and so it works correctly. And so I always mention that earplugs are the same thing, but for your ears. So it helps protect your ears so they don't get damaged from loud music. And custom musician earplugs don't actually alter the way the sound is perceived at all. They actually just bring the sound equally. Instead of letting in more bass than treble, it actually is brought down all the same. So it's a fairly distortion-free solution to protecting your ears.
The Marion Down Center provides financial assistance for people who are low income who don't normally have access to hearing healthcare, whether it be hearing tests or earplugs or anything. So actually providing this financial assistance for people who are low income helps me serve patients who normally would just have damage to their ears, and it could in fact make it so they can't perform professionally or can't be an audio engineer professionally. So my philosophy is that everybody should have access to hearing healthcare regardless of their income or their socioeconomic status.
All right. Well, thank you for watching that. As you can see, Kevin had a really good experience at the Marion Down Center, and he definitely noticed that he is able to teach drums, play gigs, practice much more safely, and his ears aren't ringing afterwards. He's just got a better quality of life now, and he's doing the right thing by protecting his money makers, his ears. Okay, so look, if you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me or set up an appointment. You can email me, you can call me, you can come in. We take Medicaid, we take insurance, we take cash self-pay. We will make it work for you. And if you are seeing this, we will give 10% off of our usual cost of hearing protection. And so just mention this lecture and you will get a hefty discount on your hearing protection purchase. So please give us a call and get an appointment scheduled. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you and have a wonderful day.